Mrs. Yarodavers.
Ave Satanas! Hail Satan! Hail Satan!
Greetings, heathens. Welcome to Hail Satan. This is the podcast exploring Satanism, culture, and life in general through the eyes of modern Satanists. My name is Joseph Rose. I'm a member of an amazing independent congregation called Satanic Delco, and we welcome members from everywhere in the world. If you want to learn a little bit more about that, visit satanicdelco.com. Today, we're going to take a break from our examination of the Satanic Bible and just have a listen to a classic album. First, let's acknowledge some lovely Satanists that have joined up with us on Patreon. We've got Skyen, Broxy, Joseph, Michaela, Lauren, Bridget, Lori, Luke, Cody, Kana, Wicca, Nick, Michael, and Gnarly Sage. Thank you guys. Your support is what makes this all possible, of course, and I appreciate you all very much. If you have a moment, please visit the website at hailsatanpodcast.com. You'll find links to join me on social media, a form to send me an email, and a link to join up with us all on Patreon. We have a few different tiers to choose from with various benefits, including the Greetings from Hell Satanic Postcard of the Month Club. That is the most direct way you can support me and this show if you'd like to do that. Visit hailsatanpodcast.com. All right. We are now joined by our special guest. Welcome back to the show, Jerry.
Hello. Satanic adjacent, Jeremy Lawrencewood.
Jerry. Since you brought it up, let me ask you a question. Do you yet openly identify as a Satanist?
Absolutely not.
You do not?
No.
You're still in the closet Satanist?
No, there's no financial gain or any type of gain to naming myself as a Satanist. And we've talked about this before, where there are closets. I love what you guys do. I love the seven tenets or whatever you do. But the idea, but really, I don't want to offend anyone.
That's okay.
But
you have the right to offend.
I guess that's one of the tenets.
Right.
It's turned into a real religion. Like,
I guess so.
It turned into a real, there's the Vatican, there's Joel Osteen, and now there's
Satanic Delco.
Malcolm Jerry. Is that his name?
There is a Malcolm Jerry, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, these people are all figureheads, and they're all making bank. Real money. Joel Osteen more than anybody. Actually, I take that back. The Vatican is probably stacking chips.
Yeah, probably.
They are making good money. And if they ever had like a garage sale, like if they started like selling,
I think
shit
the
at
Vatican is probably just straight up selling children for untold sums of money.
Wasn't there? Yeah, I think they were the ones that where was it? Sky Mall or something, like somebody was selling mattresses at like a high price, and they thought they were packing children.
Yeah. There was that whole thing about what was the website?
I forget what it was.
I can't think of it. It starts with a W, right?
Yeah, it wasn't Sky Mall.
It's like some regular website. I've ordered from the website. I can't think of the name right now, but yeah, there was like something where if you order this certain kitchen cabinet, you get like a kid or something. It's like some bullshit. Yeah, some bullshit conspiracy.
It's obscenely expensive. So that's why would I say anything affiliated with anything when everyone's just sort of making money off it? Once I say I'm part of something, then I'll have to believe in it, and then it will ask me for money. Just like marriage, just like marriage.
Yeah.
Like why would I want to commit?
Yeah, marriage is a scary cult.
It is a cult. It's usually a 2-person cult unless you believe in polygamy. Then it's a many-person cult.
Yeah, this is going to come up more. This is sorry, off topic for just a moment. This is going to come up in a future episode at some point, but I'm going to really dial in on that cult idea and term. That word, I have feelings, and I've talked about them a little bit, but it's going to become more of a thing in the future.
It's a blanket thing. If you have any one person leading any one movement, and it's not like a corporation, which I believe is a financial cult in some way. There's a culture, there's a credo, there's a handbook. Yeah. You do this and that, and there's not much difference between a KPMG versus Scientology. You know, you have to work it within ethics and stuff like that. You know, Citibank.
So is your main turnoff just to the idea of an organized religion generally, like an organization? Is that the deal?
An organization that will ask me for things is not that. Even in the Christian religion, lift a stone, I am there. Da, 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 da. You don't need the building.
Yeah.
You don't need tithing is a fairly recent thing. You know, to get to it was in lieu of it was the religious tax. You know, and I watched it happen all the time. Here's money, and I get keeping a building. Like for a church, I get it for a singular thing.
I can imagine. I mean, I've never had a church. I would love to get one, but I imagine they are expensive.
Yeah,
as
yeah.
fuck.
Well, you're not
these people, man, there's so many churches.
You're not being taxed.
Yeah.
So you're out
That's a
of
big
that.
one.
You're out of that realm, but you do have to keep the lights on
Sure.
and all that stuff. So I understand a little bit of a donation, but every fucking week there's and I would look at this thing, and me being not a criminal, but given to easy ways out. This fucking bucket full of money would pass by me. I was like, why don't I just sample a little bit? Why don't I just take a handful of this money?
Yeah.
As it passes by me.
Yeah, let me steal
Let me just
from
steal
this.
some money from this religion.
Real nice, Jerry.
Yeah, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in giving you money. And so I don't see any difference between corporate, a religion. Once I have to believe in something, I have to pay it.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, but what's the great thing about being on this show? It's free. Not
It is free to just come on the show.
I do appreciate that. Thank you for having me, and I do love all the kind words that you guys say about me. And
Yeah, our listeners are very fond of you. I always get feedback when you're on the show. They say we want more Jerry. Love Jerry.
I'm a very happy person.
Yeah. And today, Jerry, perhaps a special treat. I don't know if you will enjoy it or how our listeners will feel, but this is a special one for me. This is a creation that came into the world when I was very young. I was a very moldable young mind at the time, and boy, did it ever send me in a direction. Today, Jerry, we're talking about Shout at the Devil. It is the second studio album by American heavy metal band Motley Crue. It was released on September 26th, 1983. It was the band's breakthrough album, establishing Motley Crue as one of the top-selling heavy metal acts of the 1980s. This album, Jerry, was huge for me. I was a very young kid around, the early 80s. MTV had just come about in 81 or 82. And Looks That Kill was a song from this album that appeared on the screen one day. Now, I think I'd already been aware of Motley Crue. My mom was a fan, and they had other music videos out there, so I think I was aware of them. But Looks That Kill is the one that really just fucking hit me over the head, and I could not turn away. I saw this thing. The riff was killer. Even my tiny little mind at that time knew a riff when it hit me. And this one was a riff. And then I saw this fucking video on my TV full of these wild-looking characters, these dudes in this band. I had never seen anything quite like it. They looked awesome and cool. And the video has this, I don't know, sort of post-apocalyptic scene going on where the band is playing, and they're all these monochromatic women sort of around. I don't know. It's hard to really. What are they? Are they slaves of some kind or workers? What are they? I don't know.
There was a bunch of shit like that. Remember Rat, where the woman was taking off her skin on the
Yes.
stairwell? Like, well, it's mildly
It was a
sexy,
theme of the era.
But this, again, reading the dirt and watching them, that was their thing. They were going for a road warrior look.
Yeah, it was very much that.
And what they were doing in their personal lives in 1983.
Oh, well, yeah, I didn't know about any of that at the time.
But
just the visual and the cool sound and everything. And, of course, in the video, during this era, the album is, of course, Shout at the Devil. The band was particularly fond of the pentagram, and red and black was abound. And in the video, I think there's a pentagram maybe on Tommy Lee's kick drum.
Sure.
And in the video, with its 1983 special effects, the pentagram spins and flies off the kick drum, and it's like a screen effect,
And later, Tommy Lee, he would do all these gymnastics with these drums.
Yeah, wild drum kits that would spin around.
Interesting album, and my hook for that was the titular track. And
Shout at the devil.
What a great word, by the way, titular.
Titular.
And then, but like I remember buying a ticket to see Motley Crue at the FU Center at the time, the First Union Center.
Yeah.
Just to hear "Shout at the Devil," and then because that's how I didn't know that's how they started their shit off. My roommate at the
That's
time,
what they opened up the show with?
Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, definitely. Why wouldn't you? It's
Yeah,
the way to start.
sure.
And then my roommate at the time, Ryan, was buying cocaine in the bathroom. So all I hear, I have to stand watch, you know? And then like all I hear is the beginning like bass drum. I'm like, well, this fucking ruined it. Like that was the only one I wanted to see. Like that and it looks like Hill and Dr. Feelgood were
Right.
like I was gonna go for that, but like, dude, you ruined it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get fucking tooted, bro. Like I don't want to get tooted, man.
Tooted.
And I missed it. I missed all of.
I've
all
never
of Shout
been
at the Devil.
tooted. Should I try it?
No,
No.
I don't think you need it, man.
Yeah, I don't.
That's the thing about cocaine.
I don't really want it.
Hey, Hail Satanists, let me tell you something about cocaine. Cocaine is only good for the 30 seconds after you do it, and the best part and the worst part about it is that you can't do it again. You're going to keep trying to get more cocaine, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
There's never enough cocaine.
Yeah, I've always said there's just never enough cocaine.
It's a T-shirt. Welcome to go to say Hail Satan, HailSatan.com and purchase your never enough cocaine Satan shirt.
Yes.
Oh, dude, can you imagine fucking your little Baphomet like doing a little key bump, like just get
What is the matter with you,
with the
Jerry?
two fingers?
Keep
right
it
up his
together.
nose, with his right up his nose.
Jerry, this is a professional broadcast.
Is it?
Yes.
You're doing a Motley Crue album.
Thank you. Yeah, what else? Okay, so I was exposed to this album, saw the video, loved it. In fact, probably that video, or at least those early Motley videos, is where I decided I wanted to play bass. I do play bass. That's been my primary instrument that I've ever played in my life. And that was the birth of it because I just saw Nikki Sixx on the screen and he just looked like the coolest motherfucker that I've ever seen. I was like, I don't even know what that is. Is that a guitar? What are they doing? I want to do whatever this fucking guy is doing. And eventually I did. And they were just the coolest. And I fell in love. I don't know where I was at the moment I saw this video, if I was already into it or not. But by the time, after I saw it, I was in love with all of the imagery. I loved whatever the fuck a pentagram was. I was like, that's cool as fuck. And even though I didn't understand all of everything, lyrical content and all of the image stuff, I didn't know what it meant. I just knew that I liked it and I knew that it was cool. And I also had a sense that it was, whatever the word is, edgy somehow. It was a counterculture.
It was. It pushed gender barriers because there was a lot of makeup.
Yeah,
hair,
well, that was true of all of those 80s, bands,
but
you know.
they did it differently where it was a lot more menacing.
Yeah.
Like Poison didn't have that.
Oh, definitely.
Slaughter. I mean, Mark Slaughter.
Yeah, there was nothing big. Like this became kind of big. This was like their breakthrough album, And so it did get a bit popular, and there was nothing like that in the mainstream. There were bands out there in the early 80s, some of these metal bands doing some stuff, but they didn't reach the mainstream to me the way this did.
Right.
And I've always credited, I guess, sometimes I'm half joking, but really it's true. This album played a role in me becoming a Satanist. Like it planted a seed or watered a seed that was already planted of just all of that stuff, the counterculture, the rebellion, the aesthetic, all of that, the attitude, just an appreciation for blasphemy and just all of that.
They shocked you.
Yeah, and upsetting the squares.
Right. And they did it to great effect. And it just did nothing else like it existed.
Yeah.
And I don't think, and this is the thing, it was all image.
Yeah.
There was no Satan in their shit. It was the idea of Satan.
Yeah. And this album, it's called Shout at the Devil, and it has a pentagram, depending on which version of the album cover you have. It might have a pentagram on the front or a photo of the guys on the front. But either way, it's not a satanic album. We'll just get that right out of the way here. The lyrical content isn't like pro-Satan or telling stories of Satan or Satanism. It's nothing like that. In fact, it's a little bit, almost a little bit of the opposite. As the story goes, I think Nikki, I don't know if Tommy Lee was involved. I think primarily Nikki had been dabbling in, occult stuff like so many of us did back then. and he had an interest. And there's a story about Nicky being so freaked out about something freaky that happened in his apartment. Something moved or whatever. There was some sort of possession happening. Of course, it was probably effects of a bunch of drugs and alcohol.
Could also be California. That
Could be
place
California.
moves.
Yeah, it
Shakes.
does. And so he was freaked out. And so it's almost a like shout at the devil,
Yeah.
like, hey, buddy, stay away. We're not trying to get fucked up here, devil. Something like that.
No, I think it's almost as simple. I didn't mean to interrupt. It's
No,
almost
go.
as simple as like when I was a kid. You remember these little nail? There was rubber bands, and there was a board with a bunch of nails on it. You can move and make little designs with the rubber
Yes.
bands.
Oh, yeah. You'd always make the pentagram.
You make a pentagram because
Yeah.
it was a cooler looking star.
Of course.
Because stars were like, they were there, but they had the 1 point.
Yeah.
But the pentagram, and this is why I think it's cool. It looks like it has horns. It's just it's a unique and cool looking star. I was making pentagrams way before I knew what they were because it's a cooler looking star.
Yeah, exactly. I was doing the exact same thing, probably based, again, on this album cover or the imagery from their previous
I
album.
did it because if you did a good job that day, you get a star.
Yeah,
And
right here at the house we're at currently,
Yeah.
my former next door neighbors, right over there to the left of us, was I knew the kids. There was a girl in the house who was my age in my grade. She had 2 older brothers, and then the mom and dad. And I knew that at least the mom and the girl were like into Jesus. They were pretty religious. They had a Jesus thing going on. And I had, again, I'm very young. I have the most rudimentary understanding of all of this. But I understood enough to know that for whatever reason, the Pentagram and Motley Crue and Shout at the Devil was like not cool to them.
Right.
It was like evil or shady or we're not fucking with that. So my little wise ass would march myself right over there on the sidewalk in front of their house with my sidewalk chalk, and I would draw a big pentagram on the sidewalk square out in front of their home. And they were very upset.
Very unnecessary.
It started so early. You can see almost nothing has changed. Now I'm running around poking at school districts, fucking their shit up. I started when I was 5 years old.
I'm gonna tell you, but you've never lost that love of sidewalk chalk painting.
No,
You're
I still love it.
You're very Mary Poppins in that respect. You go
Yeah.
out and you paint.
Yeah, I love a sidewalk chalk pentagram. Do you have any feelings or knowledge or
I remember,
anything about this?
For my first exposure to them, and I'll keep it short. That was
Sure.
a very good. Was really Granite Run Mall. Granite Run Mall had. There's a Granite Run Mall, and in malls,
Local mall near where we
around
are here in Delco.
But even far away from like the music stores and everything, there was like the now showing the poster
Yes.
cases, and there was a picture of them. I think it might have been Smoking in the Boys Room album, but it was them. It was Pop Motley Crue all in this big poster,
Yeah.
and it just said Crue underneath it. And this was in a mall next to like something like a Claire's Boutiques, like it was just an interesting time. Like I think that might even have been like there was so much cross promotion through this gender bending, 80s glam rock. But I hate saying that about them. Glam, they weren't. They did take.
They certainly were. They glam rock, the pre-existing glam rock of the 70s and moving into the early 80s was obviously definitely a huge influence
Right.
on Motley Crue. But they had their own spin. They and particularly with this album. In fact, just one last note, in celebration of this album and the first Motley Crue album, which is Too Fast for Love, I have a tattoo right here on my left shoulder of the very pentagram that's on the Shout at the Devil album.
Right.
And to make it clear that it celebrates Motley Crue, I put a little umlaut on top of it,
umlaut.
the 2 dots.
Yeah.
Just to, give a nod to, that it is a celebration of the first 2 Motley Crue albums, in particular this one.
As this album goes on, I would love to talk about the imagery
Oh, yeah.
of this band versus the imagery that you guys employ. Which
Yeah.
is all- which
Well,
is all
maybe
that-
should
we'll
we get into the album?
Yeah,
Should we do it?
Because we did.
The opening track, the intro, is called In the Beginning. It's very cool. Give it a listen. Moody.
This came out of your room at 5 years old.
Yeah, dude.
Always overpowered the evils of all man's sins. But in time, the nations grew weak, and our cities fell to slums, while evil stood strong. In the dusts of hell lurk the blackest of hates, for he whom you fear awaits you.
I fucking love this.
Now, many, many lifetimes later,
Yeah, this is what I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden,
Here we go.
I'm at the bathroom.
Title track. This is Shout at the Devil.
Now, was Too Fast for Love the first album, was that a big deal, or
It wasn't a big commercial success, but
what was on that? Was there, do you know any singles?
Live Wire. I mean,
Oh.
yeah, Live Wire might have been
I don't-
maybe the most popular. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
But I, if I had to choose only one Motley Crue album, it would probably be Too Fast for Love. That's probably my number one. Shout the Devil being number two.
Vince Neil, man. How many people tried to copy this?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I think Sebastian Bach dumbed himself down to sound like this. Yeah, that man can sing his ass off.
Hell yeah.
He's up there.
And for many of our listeners out there, you might get the sense that you don't know some of the references or things that Jerry and I talk about. That's because we're old, just for the
Yeah,
record.
oh yeah, I forgot. This is a young. Oh yeah, you're corrupting young minds.
I hope so.
Yeah. What is the median age? You get stats. What is the median age? Actually, you guys are.
I don't really know.
I've been to your parties. There's a lot of there. There's
We've got a
50 or
varied-
70
we've got a
year olds,
mix,
50,
yeah.
60, 10-year-old, not 10-year-olds, 20-year-olds.
I think the youngest member of Satanic Delco currently is maybe 19.
Oh, good. It's
I
an
think
adult.
we have a
She- he or she's an
19-year-old.
adult.
And as for the oldest, I'm not quite sure. I know we at least have 60s. I'm pretty sure we have 60s. I think. And everybody in between.
And they're so crisp.
Yeah, dude.
I like that Vince Neil stayed blonde too. Like he set himself apart from the rest of the band.
Yeah,
Not making
yeah, he
himself
sure
dark.
did. Everybody else had the black, very dark look.
Not Vince.
Frontman Vince had to pretty himself up.
Yeah, beautiful man.
The
Back
ladies
then,
loved a young Vince. They sure did.
I'm sure if he put out his porno video, and this time it would have been okay to watch. The later one, not so much.
A little rough.
It was not fun to look at. Yeah, see, this is a great way to start a show.
Oh, hell
you know?
yeah.
Missed all of it. Man, it was going to this concert was super interesting though. There were people like way older than me and way younger. I mean, I was 20. Geez, I was like 27, and it just everyone looked like they were having a great time
Yeah.
and dressed inappropriately. No matter, I mean, some people just didn't dress for their body type. Not shaming it. Big fan of Lizzo. Big up, Queen. And then and then-
I am not so much.
I am. And so, like, it was just they appealed to so many different people through so
Oh,
many
here, the
generations.
riff, Jar. Oh,
Yeah.
track 3, Looks That Kill.
This was a sexy
This was the
song.
one that got me.
And I like when when Vince sings the chorus.
Yeah.
She's got that, and he just voice goes way down, you know. Can you imagine, man? 1980s LA, whiskey a go go, the strip. God, for some reason, every woman had abs.
Is that right?
I mean, every picture you see, like these like women are hyper fucking like in shape, and it's all because of Jane Fonda's tape. You know?
Right.
We're again.
Yeah,
we're
we had
old.
everything in the 80s. We had Jane Fonda, we had Jazzercise, we had everything.
Iran-Contra affair.
Yeah, Ollie North.
Yeah.
Sorry, younger listeners.
Yeah, you gotta. Everyone says like, I would love to live in the 80s.
Yeah, listen to Tommy Lee's drums,
Yeah.
too. Holy crap.
He is a good drummer. What I appreciate most about this stuff too is theater. Motley Crue had a good idea of what they wanted to look like and how to present themselves.
Yeah.
And again, this goes back to what you're doing. You know, what you guys are doing. Like there is a there's darkness to what you guys do, and I think a lot of it's theater. Like Ghost is theater.
Yeah, well, I was just thinking
Twin
back
Temple.
to the, especially the early years of Motley Crue, but really all throughout, whenever they had a new album cycle, album and tour and all of that stuff, they sort of reinvented their aesthetic.
Yeah.
They had a look. So when you look back through the history of Motley Crue, for example, you see all the very distinct different eras and the different look that they took on for each one. And a band like Ghost, who is so popular now, certainly amongst Satanists, many of us enjoy Ghost. they do the same thing. They've got a whole different little vibe, a whole thing that goes along with each album cycle, and that's been going on for a long time.
Think about it.
Kiss did it as well.
Madonna.
Sure.
Madonna consistently, I don't know what she's doing now. I think she's a robot. And Cher. I mean, we shit on Cher, but Cher came out of nowhere with Turn Back Time.
Oh, yeah.
While being popular in the 60s and was like, holy shit, you know?
How about Mick Mars right here ripping this solo?
Yeah. Stationary ass Mick Mars.
Poor guy.
I felt so bad for him. Just sitting there, everyone else is waving around and shit, and they just plop Mick Mars. They wheeled him out like he's fucking Hannibal Lecter, and Silence of the Lambs plopped him there, and there he stayed. Because he can't turn his neck. Poor guy. He's still alive, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just couldn't get sick of this, man. I loved it so much. Still do.
That might also be my problem with religions, too. They don't really change too much. They sort of stay static, you know?
Yeah.
They don't put Jesus in a new outfit every 7 years, and they keep it fresh.
Yeah.
They do change his ethnicity depending on who you are. I love
That's true.
I love the black Jesus. I love the Arabian Jesus. The white Jesus, I don't believe. There's no fucking way.
Yeah, somehow Jesus did get very white.
Jesus turned into a fucking, Jesus is an Irishman.
Irish Jesus.
Jesus O'Malley up there.
Yeah.
You hear that? The kill. He's the way he enunciates kill on this is amazing. And I can't separate. Again, I'm gonna keep adding things to this,
Yeah.
to the theater of it all. This is a pro wrestling thing too.
Yeah?
They don't believe in any of this shit.
Oh, sure.
You know, so it's a gimmick. I know the music is not.
Yeah.
The music's quality, but the overall aesthetic is gimmicky because they're drinking, drugs.
Well, they did love drinking and
drugs,
and sex.
sex all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, that book is pretty consistent throughout.
Yeah,
The whole
I mean,
narrative
I've
of the book.
talked about sex, drugs, and rock and roll many times.
This is the
I'm
personification
sure on
of it.
different episodes throughout, and I'm sure I will again. But it really is a part. I think I've described, in Satanism, we talk about. Oh, just a moment. This is track 4. It's called "Bastard." For those of you playing along,
Yeah, that little Marilyn Manson, like, like
long before Manson,
for sure.
and I'm sure Marilyn Manson was heavily influenced by these guys early on.
How couldn't he be?
Of
He's
course.
a gimmick too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm saying that it sounds like I'm being insulted.
Right. Well, yeah, gimmick is a little cynical. That can have a negative connotation.
I don't mean it that way.
Yeah, I understand. But yeah, they had a hook. You had to have an image, especially in the '80s. That was a big part of it.
I mean, how many people got into this and then immediately got into like, what's that? Death? What's that name of that? What's that the first big black metal band? It wasn't Death. It was.
What are you talking about?
There's a black metal band that was big.
Black metal?
Like a real satanic black metal band.
Like Mayhem
Yeah,
or
something like
or-
that, but it was like early.
I don't know
80s
much
or
about all
late
the death
70s.
and black metal bands.
I did. I forget what it's called. I think it was Death. I don't know. I might be wrong.
Death?
I think. Yeah, that sounds so simple. I'm just saying shit. Welcome to our other show where I just say shit. Yeah, Tommy's going.
Oh, and this one, a memory that I have of this track, Bastard. So, again, I was very young. I'd be driving around in the car with my mom. We're listening to this album. She was a big fan. I was a big fan. We had a blast. And when I would sing along with this song, I knew that bastard was like some sort of a bad word that I probably wasn't allowed to say. Now, in retrospect, I realized I probably could have said any damn word and my mom wouldn't have cared. But at the time, I just thought I better keep it tight. So I would sing Batman.
Batman!
Batman. That's what I would sing when the chorus came along.
adorable.
Yeah. Yeah, right
Oh,
there.
you're an adorable man. Batman! I remember my mom saying jerk off wasn't a bad word.
My mom, at a very young age, told me specifically that Mr. Rogers is a jerk off. That's what she said.
I don't like
It
that.
stuck with me forever.
I didn't like watching the show, but I did like later documentaries about Mr. Rogers. I was like, this guy really believed this shit.
Yeah.
It wasn't a gimmick.
I can never tell. Did I just have the music so loud like we were talking like over it or something?
It's
I
a
don't know.
consistent and total complaint.
Who knows?
That people aren't going to hear us.
That's okay.
We're talking
If
loud.
you're here for the talking, the music is ruining it. And if you're here for the music, the talking is ruining it. So I apologize to everyone, but me and Jerry are just going to have a nice time right now.
What's great about your show is mostly talking. So like,
Right.
people just turn this off immediately. All you hear is bastard.
Well, they love to hear from Jerry. They
love hearing you.
You know,
This is your show. It's not mine.
I'll give it to you.
I'd gladly.
I would like you to just host a few episodes of the show on
Sure,
your own.
I'll do that.
You know, I'll give you like maybe a topic or some things to talk about, and we'll get Jerry's take.
Yeah, no, you're gonna get my take. We're gonna have a guest. It's like, what do you think? And if it's that over and over again.
We should. That's a great experiment. We should try it.
We'll try it.
This is track 5. This is a little instrumental number called "God Bless the Children of the Beast."
So this wasn't a satanic album.
Well, Mick Mars may have had other ideas.
Yeah, Mick Mars, the darker of the story. He was old. He was older.
He's a bit older, yeah.
Like this. You hear a lot of influences in this. Sounds like Cemetery Gates by Pantera.
This predates Cemetery.
I know, influence.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as far as, you know, kind of early, especially more mainstream, darker rock bands or whatever, this album was right in there.
Yeah. You can't shit on it. You
No.
can make fun of Warren. You know you can.
Sure.
Not sometimes not exactly permissible. They were good. Warren.
I
has
mean,
some,
Uncle Tom's Cabin fucking slams
Yeah,
to this
great-
day.
great
But
album.
aside from that, I don't really need Warrant in my
What
life.
was that one band that you forced me to listen to? Was it Warren?
I don't know.
No, it was.
Oh, here we go. Track 6. This is a cover song, Helter Skelter. Of course, a Beatles track.
Made famous by Murder.
Yeah.
And
I
no
love
one,
this.
no one knew what that shit meant. Man, you have to be pretty ballsy to cover a Beatles album.
They fucking nailed it, though.
A Beatles song.
This is my favorite version of that song.
Oh shit. I don't know. What's your favorite Beatles song?
Motley Crue's version of Helter Skelter, probably.
I think Happiness is a Warm Gun. That's my,
Yeah.
my favorite one. I think lyrically.
This album just, you know, and others like it. It didn't even matter what the specific song may have been written about. I got enough information into my little brain at that time to just know that these dudes were cool motherfuckers. And they were, you know, they were over there. They were like, you could view them as like the bad guys, but you wanted to be with the bad guys.
Sure.
You know? Which, of course, leads right into Satanism.
Ah, well,
Satan, the bad guy, I'm down with that guy.
Yeah.
I like his vibe.
That's the thing. I bring it up often and daily, and I know it's weird. And I grew up as a kid as a big fan of pro wrestling.
Yeah.
So like the look doesn't exactly have to match how you feel.
Sure.
You can be that person and be somebody else too. And I that might have fucked me up my whole life, to be honest with you. Like I'm never really authentic, but yeah, you can be this guy and not have to eat babies. That's for other people who believe that shit. Sorry, I know you guys don't like that term.
It's inescapable.
Super weird. I keep forgetting about Tommy Lee, man. The drums are just
Real
so
solid
tight,
rock
you know?
drummer, man. I'll tell you what, another little credit to Tommy Lee. Less so on this album, but real prominent on the first album, Too Fast for Love. Tommy Lee could rock a cowbell like no one I have ever heard since. He used the cowbell a lot. Like you think, oh, it's a little novelty bit of percussion. You put it in every once in a great while. Dude, he worked the cowbell throughout that Too Fast for Love album in real creative and fun ways. And I fucking love it, man.
Right.
I've never heard anybody so good with a cowbell as early Tommy Lee.
Oh, Will Ferrell.
He did his best.
That's a timeless skill.
Yes.
Christopher Walken, Will Ferrell. I mean, come on. This is one of my favorite. I wish we did this on our. I'm gonna stop calling it another show. People who know us from this. You know, it's what we do. Contentious.
That was cover of Helter Skelter. Coming up, track 7. This one's called Red Hot.
I'm surprised we never did this on that one, though. Yeah, now I know where you get it
Listen
from.
to that shit.
Joseph has his own bands, and I think every song starts out like that. All right! Every song starts out that way. Well, man!
That is not true, but it would be pretty fun.
See, if I was as big as you, I would do everything I could. I would do everything I could to sell whatever I do. You don't talk about any of the other shit you do.
No, I mean, people are here for a reason, and I just respect it.
Nope, I would brand confusion is my game.
That's good, Jerry.
Yeah, I'll never get that. I would load everything into one thing. But I also did just bitch about paying religions.
That's right.
But pay me, that's okay.
How are you feeling about this album? Are you hearing anything you like? You
I
like
like
any
it
of this?
all.
Are you
I
paying
think
any
it-
attention to it?
I don't. Generally, I don't. I mean, this is what we do. I do this every Tuesday with you. And my job, I take it seriously, is to talk over the music. So no one hears it.
Well, you certainly could listen to the music as well.
I'm happy with this. I don't like this song as much as I like the other
No.
ones. This one sounds a little... I don't know. I haven't heard the whole thing. What I do like about them is they don't do that stupid shit where they play one song and in the middle they play another song and never go back to the original
Yeah,
song.
I know you don't.
I don't
You
like
have an
that.
issue with songs that are too, I don't know,
Where they turn into different
versatile.
songs. Yes, The Who and Black Sabbath are major offenders of this.
Yeah.
I'm going to look at my phone, only to find out when this album was released and what its contemporaries were.
It was 1983.
I'm going to tell you, yeah, I'm going to do it. So this is going to be a good experience. That's why I love looking at this type of stuff, because what was big when this was big? I
Yeah.
swear to God, Michael Bolton existed in the
Yeah,
same
this
world.
came out specifically at the end of September 1983.
All right, top 40 in September 1983. Eurythmics, Sweet Dreams.
Oh, yeah.
Putting on the Ritz by Taco.
Hot.
Every Breath You Take by the Police. This shit, we are old.
Getting up there, man.
Maniac was the #1 hit.
No shit.
Yeah.
Like Flashdance.
Michael Cimbello, Flashdance.
Yeah.
She Works Hard for the Money.
Good jam.
Fuck, these are great songs. Total Eclipse of the Heart.
Dude, the early 80s were awesome.
Oh my God. Don't Cry by Asia. I forgot all about that.
I'm okay without that one.
Lawyers in Love by Jackson Brown. I don't like Jackson Brown.
I'm not
sorry.
into it.
It's
But man, there was a lot of great shit.
Dude, 17. Far From Over by Frank Stallone.
All right.
Now we're
All
talking.
right. Good for him.
Promises, Naked Eyes. China Girl, David Bowie. Oh, there. I'm not going to do anything else after this because it's the only song I never listen to but love. True by Spandau Ballet.
Oh, boy. Oh, yeah, this is a great one, Jerry. Track 8, Too Young to Fall in Love.
Yeah, I know this one.
Great song.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Memorable riffs.
This is a
Guys,
great
I
album.
love a riff. And that's a riff.
I'm surprised there is no Motley Crue on this at all.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go to next week. Is there such a thing? God, I would love to be in a fucking Camaro. Like, what was the car that Vince Neil slept with the girl for just to have a drive her car?
I don't remember.
That was a thing. It was like a Fiero or something
don't
like that.
remember.
Like a T-top.
There was a short phase during elementary school, maybe around 4th grade, I want to say. 3rd, 4th grade, probably 4th. My mom had the iRock Z with the T-tops.
Yeah.
And we'd roll up to elementary school blasting, Motley Crue and whatever else. It was the best.
Your mom didn't care that those back seats are only
not
made
care.
for luggage.
Yeah.
For small bits of luggage, like
Yeah,
a
did
bag.
not care.
You were in the back seat.
I was in the front seat. It was the 80s.
You shouldn't have been in the front seat.
Probably not. Certainly not with my mom driving, who, had quite a track record for wrecking every car she ever touched, including those that weren't hers.
You know, we like to say that you're rock and roll and counterculture. This woman, every time I hear a fucking story about her, I'm like, this is a reckless woman.
She was out of control.
But you know what? Sounds like a loving mother, and really included you in all of her interests.
She sure did. Yeah, I was included.
My mom did all her dirt on her lonely.
In secret.
Later, I found out what a colossal piece of shit she is. I'm only kidding. I love you, Mom.
Sorry there, Mom.
Patreon. Loyal patron. Yeah, this was...
Yeah, Mick Mars was fucking working on this jam.
I'm going to tell you, though, anytime Tommy Lee just has a singular bass drum,
oh, yeah,
that's all I need.
And Tommy always liked the large diameter kick drum.
Mm-hmm.
He was into that boomy big kick drum, which I am a fan of that.
Yeah. It lets you know, it trains you as an audience. Like, if the music stops and it's just the kick drum, you know what you're supposed to do. Your love's a guillotine. And Vince Neil, it's a sexy voice.
Yeah.
It's legitimately, it's sex. This is good, raw dog.
You feel that you
vocal
are,
sex.
you're feeling
I'm
sort of aroused.
I'm aroused by this man's voice. No,
Yeah.
not amorous.
No.
I don't know what that means.
Okay. But clearly aroused.
Oh, yeah. If I stood up,
Well, please don't.
that's funny.
Actually, you know what? Do
That's
it.
funny. I was about to say, that's funny. That's the first time you've rejected my penis.
Oh, Jerry.
That's funny.
That was track 8, guys. All right, track 9 coming up is Knock 'Em Dead, Kid. Another solid rocker here. Oh, what's that, Mick Mars? Another riff for us?
Would you put him on the level of a Morello?
No.
He's below Morello.
Yes. Let's not get
He's
insane.
not a riff master general.
No. Tom Morello, I talk about the riff master generals of the world, who is on the Mount Rushmore of the riff. And I would say it goes like this, in no particular order, guys. Tom Morello of Rage Against the Machine and Audio Slave, primarily. We've got Tony Iommi, of course, from Black Sabbath. We've got James Hetfield from the Metallicas. And who am I forgetting? I just lost track of my own list.
Tom Morello.
Dimebag Darrell of Pantera. Those 4 are probably the riff master generals. Now, that doesn't mean, I'm not saying greatest
You're not saying
guitar player,
virtuoso,
whatever that
you would
means.
Yngwie Malmsteen.
I'm talking about the riffs,
Satriani,
man,
things
the
like
riffs. And, man, I defy you to have better riffs than those
Stevie Ray
fucking
Vaughan
guys.
doesn't have the riffs.
No, man, he's not about the riff.
He's about the craft. He's a badass, though. I'll give
He
Stevie
sure
Ray Vaughan
look,
his-
there's a ton of amazing guitar players and musicians out there, but those 4 are the Mount Rushmore of the riff.
Hey, Keith Richards, dude?
Now, come on.
Satisfaction
Jerry.
is a timeless riff.
Listen, it's not on the level.
Dimebag Darrell is above Keith Richards.
Of course.
Eddie Van Halen.
Dude, the riffs.
I don't know, man.
It's the truth.
I got it.
I've studied this for years.
Dimebag Darrell.
I'm a scientist, bro. I know.
I mean, Angus Young.
I love Angus. I love that shit. But I'm saying.
I don't know.
I know, but I do. I'm just saying, you don't know.
I mean, I never fancied myself a music guy, and I
Right.
think that's why this works sometimes. I know enough. That Dimebag Darrell, but while I love
I'm
Pantera,
telling you, we
love
got
it.
look. We can
And-
go back and examine
and
the riffs.
R.I.P.
Yeah,
to a
R.I.P.
I would love to
Dimebag.
see what he have done later, but Dimebag over Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah, man. I mean,
Am I not understanding what a riff
Eddie
is?
Van Halen really is a great, like among the best rhythm guitar players in the world.
Rhythm, he's lead.
And people don't usually think of Eddie in that context because you think of Eddie, you think, oh, Eruption, leads.
Yeah.
And yes, of course, he was awesome at that stuff and innovative for the time and a powerhouse. But you don't think of Van Halen songs like, oh, the riffs. Like what are the standout riffs? They had a few, sure. But, they were a classic rock band with well-crafted, fun songs.
So you wouldn't put Led Zeppelin. Excuse
Yeah,
me.
Jimmy Page, great,
Page,
amazing, innovative, cool. I love that shit. I love it.
Pete, the Who.
Pete Townsend, same,
yeah.
but not about the riff. It's just a different.
I guess I'm not.
It's a
thinking of it
different
correctly.
style of songwriting. It's a different focus with the instrument. You know,
I would look at a riff.
I
as
just
more,
hold the riffs as
I would see
so
riffs
important.
more rhythmy than what they did.
Yeah.
Like to me, it's like a riff is just a constant like barrage. Oh, listen to that.
This is a fun ending here.
Jesus. I know he can't do that anymore.
No.
Good stuff.
All right, track 10. This is our penultimate track.
Love that you do that.
10
now.
Seconds to Love. One of my favorites.
All it takes, generally.
One of my favorites here.
They must have been young back then.
Yeah.
10-second assault. 3 slow, 4 fast. That's it.
Oh yeah, I love this. Oh, I love this song.
What was that lyric?
Listen. It's just the whole thing is so great. Damn it. Great backing vocals, the gang vocals. Love that.
It's hard for me sometimes. They do it well. It's a great effect. Sometimes I just don't like it. I think it's cheating. But you can
Just
do
wait,
it,
honey, till I tell the boys about you. He just said, bring a girlfriend, maybe bring 2.
What a dirty motherfucker. This is how they were living.
This is what was planted in my mind as a child.
Oh, Jesus. I had Big Daddy Kane. It was different.
Different vibe.
It was still sexy, but like
Yeah.
a little bit less. Funny, back then hip hop wasn't as dirty as it is.
Yeah, it started out much more wholesome.
And Big Daddy Kane wasn't wholesome, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still talking about hoes and shit, but it was like, you know, it wasn't about like fucking all the time, you know. It was just having them.
We don't use words like that here, Jerry.
Hail Satan doesn't use hoes.
Or the F.
What's the F? Did I
You
just
don't
say-
know what the F word is, Jerry? I'm just kidding. We say fuck all the time.
I know you guys say. I was at your award show.
Yes.
And I was told to read it.
Jerry was, in fact, the host of our award show.
I looked great that night.
You did.
I was very happy
fancy.
with that outfit. It was a red tie with a black vest, black shirt. I don't know where those shoes went though.
You lost
I
them.
suspect they were. I had basically bejeweled red shoes. They were
Yeah.
beautiful shoes, and I think they were thrown out in a fit of rage, satanic rage. These are the shoes of the devil bought from fucking some shoe department. Basically, not even name of a store, just
Mick Mars
shoe
ripping
department.
again right there.
He's been doing it the whole time. Now, here we go. A little breakdown.
Yeah.
A rare breakdown.
Yeah.
Yes, that's entendre.
I suppose it could be.
And that's good. That's the things that the Migos are missing.
yeah.
You know? Subtlety. And this wasn't very subtle, though. We know what he's talking about. How old? 5?
What's that?
You were 5. You were 8. You had to have been 8. No, you're 8.
I was 5 when this came out.
83 were 6 or 5. Yeah. You're gonna say I was 6. You're gonna say you're younger.
Yeah, you were quite a bit older.
Oh, it's quite a bit older.
Yeah. You were well into elementary
I was just
school.
about to turn 6 because it's September 10th. So 10 days later, I was 6.
Yeah. No, this was like September 25th.
Oh, so 5 days. I was 5 days into 6.
Yeah, you were much older.
I was born January, dude.
Yes,
Hey,
Jerry.
5 months later.
Stop it.
All right. 4 months later, you were born. I
Yeah.
prepared the planet for your arrival.
All right, Jerry. Final track. Number 11, this is Danger. Also one of my most favorite tracks on this album.
It's your favorite.
It is. It's right up there. Man, it's good. A little bit more of a moody vibe on this one. Listen to Tommy Lee. Motherfucker.
It's not overpowering, though. This is their 18 in life.
Maybe so, yeah. You've really got Skid Row on the brain today.
I did.
That's funny.
That was what it was I was forced to listen to was Skid Row.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you were. I remember that was the first. We were doing grunge albums exclusively, and they're like, we gotta do Skid Row. And I'm like, no.
Great album.
I was not interested. It was the first time we did something that wasn't grunge.
Wasn't
look, they had
the
synth.
little sweet little bass vibe
They
there?
couldn't escape it back then. Everyone had a keyboard. That keyboardist had the shortest career Motley Crue ever.
Yeah.
He was on the floor. That's it. They sort of ignored the sound of the time.
Yeah, I mean, new wave was a thing, you know.
Punk.
Yeah.
Punk, I mean, later punk, you know, you had your Sex Pistols and stuff like that, you know, like, they sort of just did their own thing. I can't say that, though, because I don't know what time this, I don't have a
I mean, they
specific,
definitely had a unique vibe. No doubt.
I know that there were other people at the end that were more derivative.
Sure.
But I get them confused, you know, I don't know. Because at this point, I would lump them in with Deep Purple, like, because I don't know why, I always put them in.
Listen to this little Mick Mars
Yeah,
business.
do that. Deep Purple and Motorhead. But even they didn't, you know. I don't like. I'm sorry. I'm gonna piss some people. I don't like Motorhead.
I'm not the biggest fan in the
I'm
world.
okay
You
with
know,
them.
I appreciate Motorhead.
I think they're funny.
I guess there's
you
an
know,
element of humor.
That's all it is to me. I mean, Lemmy Kilmeister. It's a great fucking name.
It is.
But come on.
He's a wild motherfucker.
Yeah, he was. You know, he couldn't sing like good.
Well, I mean, he
fit
was
his
the
sound.
right singer for Motorhead.
Motorhead.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Motorhead.
All right.
I feel bad saying
all right.
it. I like the guy.
Can't
a
love
lot.
them all.
I love the idea that he's a rock star, a beer drinking, ugly man. He did his thing, you know.
There's great pictures out there of Lemmy wearing the shortest cut-off denim shorts you've ever seen on a human being.
Right. Well, he's European.
Regardless of gender, he is rocking the Daisy Dukes.
Europeans are like that. They could wear short shit. They made the Speedo okay for their world. When we lived in Europe, I remember the first time seeing that. Like women topless, women and men in their underwear. All right. There you go.
All right.
Europe.
Guys, that was Shout at the Devil, the second album from Motley Crue.
Do you usually have applause at the end of your Satan show?
No. No, but I figured why the hell not? Finish an album, let's give it its credit.
Right.
Jerry, did you listen to any of that album?
I did. I just heard it all.
Okay. Do you have any feelings? Do you have thoughts? Anything stand out?
The more I do this type of thing, the more I like the reviewing and all that, or going over being a critic and everything like that. If I can talk over and have a nice time, I like the album.
Right.
If you hear any moment of silence, that means I don't like this, and I'm getting angrier and angrier as we go along.
Okay. So you enjoyed this?
I really did.
Did anything stand out? Was there one song or another that meant anything?
Always gonna be Shout at the Devil, Looks That Kill. Big fan of that, the Danger there.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there was.
I do love that jam at the end.
There are things that stick out, and it's an album I'll listen to again. I've listened to it on my own time, you know. So I didn't hate this.
Yeah.
You know, and I love the lore of them. I mean, to me, this was the band that I think more than like the Stones, or along the lines of the Stones, the Who, sans people dying like Keith Moon and fucking, so like this was the band that made rock and roll to me.
Yeah.
So this is what a rock band does. Like what Van Halen, I almost like felt like they pretended to be this because there was no way.
Just a different vibe.
But Michael Anthony wasn't doing cool shit like this.
Yeah, he was just having a real good time.
He was just enjoying life.
Yeah, he was
he's a
having some Jack
small,
Daniels.
round man with his Jack Daniels bass.
Yeah.
This is real.
He had some kick-ass background vocals, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
He had the high register. It was awesome.
Yeah, he's great. Don't catch me lying. But
I
this
think
was a
I
rock
started to say earlier, sometime during the album, and I got off track.
I'm sorry.
But in our, in chats related to Satanism, we often come upon the topic of magic. Especially when we talk about Anton LaVey, Church of Satan stuff, they reference magic a lot. And, people have different opinions or views about what that means in the context of LaVey and Satanism and all that. But for me, I always say that sex, drugs, and rock and roll are the things that feel most magical in my life. Like real life magic, the things that seem awesome and wondrous and separate from the monotony of regular life are sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And perhaps rock and roll primary amongst them, since, again, my earliest memories of life are centered around music and what music I was hearing and looking at on TV and experiences that I was having while the music was playing, and just almost every memory is attached to music one way or another. And this album was one of those most early ones that just blew my mind. Like, there was always background music. My first love was Michael Jackson. There was no escaping Michael Jackson when I was a kid in the early 80s.
It was inescapable.
Yeah, he was huge. My first concert was Michael Jackson. But when I saw Motley Crue, forget it. I was like, whatever this fucking is, I want to be part of it. I had the broom. I'd be on the porch playing the broom along to this album, and it was amazing.
That's awesome. That's being a kid, man.
And it did. It really planted the seed, and I think it set me off in the direction, the attitude that eventually turned into the type of person who would identify as a Satanist.
Sure. You saw these sex, drugs, and rock and roll as a foundation building blocks.
Yeah.
A lot of people would see these as things that would degrade, erode certain moral values. Society.
Yeah.
So you saw it as a way to build a skyscraper. Others see it as a way to raise a good thing. So it's
What are you talking about?
destroy.
Okay.
You see it as creation. Other people see it as erosion. So it is what it is.
Yeah, and I've loved it since 1983, and I think I love it as much today.
Yeah,
people
vilify all three of those things. Well, sometimes drugs aren't good.
Yeah, I mean, look, indulgence without compulsion, I say. Anton's whole deal was live your best life, and that's what I try to do when I'm able. We all do our best.
DJ Khaled says the same thing.
Yes, I was just thinking of DJ Khaled.
We the best music.
Jerry, do you have any final thoughts or anything related to the album, or anything at all, really?
No final thoughts. This was a thank you for taking me on a walk
Hell
through
yeah.
your childhood. And
always happy to have you.
Having me on the Satan Show. I look forward to hosting my own segment on this.
Yeah, guys, we're going to have some Jerry-hosted episodes. They may be bonus episodes on Patreon or something.
Like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Figure it out. They're there to figure it out with Jerry.
All right. Well, guys, if you have a moment, please visit the website at hailsatanpodcast.com. I hope you stay safe out there, and hail Satan. Come on, Jerry.
Evil free service.